Hey everybody, I'm Cece and I'm here with my friend Lee Ashby and she's going to share with us her Dreamweaver moment today. And I think we're going to be talking about love. Is that right, Lee?
Are going to be talking about love and all things associated with love.
Oh, I know. I love that subject so much. And I'm a Pisces, so love is my middle name. I feel like everybody probably thinks that, but I know I'm definitely a hopeless romantic, but I'm not hopeless about it.
Okay, good. We have,
Especially after hearing your story, I'm sure.
yes, I'm hoping that it gives people hope and new perspectives and a new way to think about just the way life happens when it comes to love.
Yeah. So tell us about your Dreamweaver moment. What's going on with you?
Okay, we're diving right in.
Wait, look at you beaming though, too. You're like, I'm
Well, I wasn't sure if we were going to lead into another question, but that's fine. I could just start at a certain place. I don't know where exactly, but I um I am in love, and I think begin with the end in mind. So I'll begin at the end. Well, it's not the end. We're still on the journey, and I'm really excited about the journey. But it's interesting because when the journey started, back in the summer of 20, I don't know when people will watch this, so I don't want to, I want to give perspective. So in the summer of 2022, um, I, um, I, you know, was reacquainted with someone, and it was interesting because it was during a time where, right after a pretty significant heartbreak,
Mhm.
that had happened pretty suddenly. And I really had my mind kind of shut down a little of like just opening my heart back up. It was 6 or 7 years of a relationship, in up and down, in and out. And I was kind of just mentally and emotionally exhausted. And so
Mhm.
I wanted companionship, but not necessarily to be in a relationship. So I was a little shut down. And one of my very dear friends, we have a mutual dear friend. Um,
Yes.
yes, Cheryl
Cricket,
Wade.
Miss
Yes,
Cheryl D. Wade Johnson.
yes. She kind of walked me through that heartbreak and just that
Mhm.
stuff. And she really wanted me to just open up to just talking and meeting someone new. And she was asking me, and I mentioned this guy. And just because we had all gone to the same school, we had mutual friends, I'd seen him and had a, kind of an admiration for him, and thought he was attractive, didn't know a lot about him, but just wasn't sure. Around the same time that I was kind of like opening my mind up to maybe meeting someone, I joined a singles Bible study group. This woman named Dr. Pat Scott. Um, she's a coach and a congresswoman actually as well, but she has a course on for Christian singles and attracting. And so I'd done some work for her in marketing, and she pinged me one day like, you need to join this course.
Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me stop you right there. So, when you were coming out of your breakup, um, were you searching for some sort of course? But do you remember, like, when she reached out to you or pinged you? What space were you in? And let me. I didn't start this off really right, but so the Dreamweaver moment. What a Dreamweaver moment is also what I call like a divine appointment that sends us on a new trajectory in life that opens us up to manifesting something that we've intended prior to. And so this Dreamweaver moment for you is how you ended up with your divine soul connected love right now.
Yes.
But I want to preface that before you go into what played out next. Do you, with how where you were before and what you were thinking right before this woman reached out to you about this class. Did she even know what you were going through?
because we worked together, she knew that I had gone through a breakup because she had never
Okay.
asked me before to join the class. So I think she knew, and she's like, "Oh, let me ask her to be a part." But I literally had no desire to be a part of this group. And
Mm.
um but I was a supporter of hers. I'm like, okay, let me give her money, let me join this group. But
Mm.
that was a really a transition, a transformational moment for me. Although I was starting the connection with my new love, I was still hesitant. We made the connection. I actually sent him, I got in the DMs. I sent him, I got down in the DM. I sent him a picture, just a playful picture, nothing, racy or anything like that, but just a hey. And I always knew, like, on social media, there was a little bit of a connection there. We always supported each other, liked each other. I knew that
Mhm.
there was something there. And so I kind of like pressed it a little more. And then I pulled Cheryl in to kind of like do some more inquiries. And so she kind of pulled it all together. So we started talking, but I still was hesitant.
Mm.
And this is a little bit where the transformation comes, because we were talking and there were a lot of things I liked about our conversation, but when you've been used to dysfunction for
Yeah.
a long time, it's very difficult to live in healthy and to
Mhm.
live in normal,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
so you tend to fight that a little bit, or think that it's not normal, or it's not this, there's something wrong with this, or we get into habits of self-sabotaging. And I
Mhm.
knew that that was my had been my story. I was good at sabotaging things, and creating smoke screens to stay away. And although you're a Pisces and you're a hopeless romantic, I am one of those that was not easy sharing my feelings. I had a lot of guards up naturally. I just always felt like I don't need emotions. I'm good.
Mhm.
So there was a lot that he had to kind of a little bit tearing down or being patient through. And I almost was waiting for him to like not be patient. Like, this girl is
Mhm.
crazy. In the meantime, I had joined this class and going through the process. And one of the two major things that transformed how I thought and opened me up to this amazing love that I now have is, one, and she took us through, I don't want to go through it because we don't have the time now, but took us through how some of us read the word, and a lot of Christian women sit in church waiting to be chosen.
Mm.
And that's not quite what the Bible says, but we have a habit of repeating a scripture without context.
Yeah, yeah.
And she wanted to get that out right away. Like, we are
Mm.
not going to sit here and wait to be picked. And so we really dug into the Ruth and Naomi story, where Ruth was pretty strategic about getting chosen and seen by Boaz, right? And so for us
Mhm.
to have that mindset of, be strategic with your love. You don't have to sit and wait to be picked. Like, who do you want, and how do you get in his orbit, right?
Mhm.
And so that kind of like, oh, okay, because I'm like, I guess I'll wait for the next one. And, and so that kind of like helped the whole, like, sending him the email and positioning myself to be alerting him, like, hey, I'm open. And then
Mhm.
the other piece that really transformed the relationship, even where there was a little bit of hesitancy, was when I did a study, or did an exercise on values.
Mm.
And of course, I've read many books on values and things like that, but she really pressed us into really being clear on what your values are. Those only three things that you are like, I cannot see myself living happily without these three things in my life. So it took
Mhm.
it took several sessions for people to really dig in and really understand and get to the heart of that. And when I did, and she was very clear, now don't go share it with the guy you're dating, or don't go blast it out there, because people will act like that's their thing as well, just to be in your space. But
Mm-hmm.
watch who lines up with your values.
Mm.
I tucked it away. I'm still talking to him, listening to him. He's consistent. I'm liking a lot of what I'm seeing. And then I slowly started seeing all the three major values for me. He lined up immediately. And so and so, it has been a wonderful journey. That was the moment, the Dreamweaver transforming moment. But I think the biggest thing I really want, I think, people to really listen to and hear and all of that is just the power. And you and I have talked about this offline, just the power of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I aligned with my values and being open to what God can do, what happens when you just open up, um, the universe opens up as well, right?
And
And it was just awesome. Yes.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make a point about that. You said you aligned with your values instead of aligning with his values. And that's what so
Exactly.
many of us do when we find somebody we think we want to be with. We like kind of get a feel for what it is they like or, don't like. And then we get to conforming to whatever their values are and try to pretend to be that thing. But that's so absolutely key, lining up, figuring out what your values are, and then aligning your vibration to those qualities. And then you will attract the divine right mate.
Yes.
Not just all the kind of mates that can kind of, fit a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But those top three things
Top three things.
are key to get yourself in alignment with and really exude that energy so that you can attract the match of that. And I also wanted to ask you, when the lady reached out to you, do you remember if you had set an intention of actually wanting to find a new mate yet
Mhm.
before that? I mean, was there a moment? When did you decide you wanted new love?
After the first class,
Hmm.
um, I promise you, when I signed up for this class, it was a favor. I was like, I'm gonna
Oh.
do her a favor. I'm gonna sign up, give her my money, I'm gonna show up. But after
Mhm.
the first class, I heard her testimony of where her first marriage failed, and I think it was pretty quickly, and and just how she found love very quickly. Like, one of her premises of her class is love does not take long. People
Mhm.
talk a lot, and finding the right one, because people talk about, oh, there's no men out there, and her thing is you only need one.
Yes, that's what
You only need
I
one.
said. Like, listen, you don't have to have 50 of them being good. You just need the one.
You just need the
You don't
one.
need one dude or woman.
Yes. But it was so inspirational. So after my first class, I did set the intent of, I deserve love, and I want to be in a healthy relationship, and it can
Hmm.
happen for me. So I was pretty intentional after that, and I did the work. So every assignment, every piece of homework she gave, everything she told us to read and watch, I did it. And
Hmm.
I watched and listened, because I was already in conversation with my love, and that was already progressing. My heart just wasn't completely open to it yet. And
Hmm.
I think, as I did the exercises, as I opened up, as I prayed and listened, I mean, the key is really to listen to yourself and watch things that are happening around you. And that's when I'm like, this is divine. This is not me. This is not me. And he and I have often talked about, we can get butterflies and all that stuff, but love at the end of the day is also a choice of,
Hmm.
I am choosing to love you and
Hmm.
to line up with whatever God is doing. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
so it was awesome. It is awesome.
It is awesome. That's right. And it will be for a long time. Um, but because of what I teach about and what I know about energy and setting intentions and how we dream weave our things into reality, to me, there has got to be a moment before that woman reached out to you where you subconsciously at least felt like you longed for love. Maybe you didn't say, I'm getting ready to go out and find me a man now, but you had to have somewhere before all of that put that out there to the universe that you longed for divine love somehow. I don't know if it was in your pain or what,
Yes,
but can you speak
absolutely.
to
I
that?
think when you asked me the question, I don't, I think I was thinking about this. I didn't think this class was going to do that for me.
Oh,
So my
uh-huh.
intention was not through that class, but yes, I covered it up by saying I don't want another relationship. I want to just have something casual. I don't want to get hurt. But at the end of the day, I I love being in a relationship. I love the institution of marriage. Um, but I had convinced myself. It's so crazy. I'm almost embarrassed to say all this, but I know it'll help someone. But I had almost convinced myself because things did not flow as properly as I wanted it to, or maybe I don't know if I wanted it to, not things didn't flow as well as it should have in my past relationship. So I
Mm.
convinced myself of I don't really need to be married. It's just a piece of paper, and I don't need to, I just kind of got settled with that. And I remember kind of having that conversation a little bit with Ron is his name, with Ron. And I remember him saying marriage is a God concept. If we try to understand it in our own
Mm.
male, in our own human concept, we won't really understand it. And so
Mm.
I'm like, wow, yes, because if I'm coming from just my human, like, it's just a legal piece of paper, I don't have to have all of this as long as he's here and I'm there, we're good. Um, and so I think talking to him more, it exposed some of the intention that I was trying to
Mm.
hide because
Mm.
because it didn't line up with how I had been living. And
Mm.
I was kind of embarrassed, I think. I just wanted to so I wasn't honest about my intentions. So it was
Mm.
definitely there, but I just wasn't
Mm.
honest with it.
Mm. I think I don't know how many people in here have heard of Esther Hicks, but she
Yes.
always talks about how when we go through contrast, it
Mhm.
is the thing that sets the rockets of desire into the vortex, which is where all of our really dreams live, but you being in a space of, pain or disappointment or whatever you want to call it, helped you to set out the energy of intention for a divine right mate. Even if you weren't over there specifically saying, I'm so mad and hurt, give me a new man. You probably weren't doing that.
Mhm.
But through the challenge that you were going through and the healing from the relationship, that is the thing that activates the universe and puts all the people into place to set you up for your success,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
the lady was a part of that. I'm sorry to keep calling her the lady. Tell me her name again.
Dr. Pat.
Dr. Pat, which is what, prompted her to ping you. I know she knew you were going through your situation, but there was something that she probably wasn't aware of either that said, let me reach out to Lee right now. Even if she wasn't aware, she just did it in the right moment. Even Cheryl, her
Yes.
bringing that to your plate
Yes.
was something she probably wasn't aware, but that's how the universe pulls it all together. Every single person, every circumstance, situation, everything that you need, the development that you needed to be really ready for him,
Yes.
all of that is, and that's why I say the path is protected. When
Right.
you set your intention and you activate your dream, it activates all the things in the universe, and it pulls in the provisions you need, the refinements you need, everything to make it a divine situation.
Yes. Yes.
And another thing that I want to bring up about this whole relationship and when you go from one to the next, that I know a lot of people teach about taking time out to heal. And I don't, this is my own philosophy about it, and I'm seeing it play out with you. And I just want to speak to it because I know for me, I have taken time out sometime in between my serious relationships to work on myself. But I also understand that that really is not always the case. Just like Dr. Pat said, it doesn't take long to recognize your next soulmate. And soulmate, not meaning, every soulmate is not your forever mate. Well, hopefully this is, because I know it's what we all really want. But sometimes people come in for a time, and that time could be a long time, that time could not be a long time, but you sort of know within yourself, that's not for somebody else to say. But it doesn't take long. When I got married the first time, I met my husband. It was definitely a divine appointment how we ended up meeting, because I had my eye on him for some years. And then we kind of hooked, it was a fluke, but not a fluke. And I knew instantly. We both knew. And we ended up moving together 3 months later. And, and it was a very good marriage. And it lasted for 5 or 6 years or something like that. And we didn't disconnect because anything happened. That was one of those situations that was for a time. And it wasn't a bad marriage. It's actually a very fun marriage. And, I just want to say that because I think a lot of women, particularly women, think that, either I need to hurry up and get in another one so I feel good, or I got to take this long period of being by myself.
Right.
Before I can connect with another one. But really, when you even just identify your what did you call it? What the top 3?
Oh, my values. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your values. If you just take the time to figure that part out, it doesn't take long. And you get in alignment with that. You don't have to heal a whole bunch of stuff. It's a matter, thoughts become things for real.
Yes.
And
yes.
intentions activate everything necessary for real. And it's not a long, drawn out thing. Even if you have a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in your life, you can still meet your soulmate tomorrow.
Yeah.
And be okay.
Yeah. I do want to touch on that time piece because that's really critical. And I think that in addition to the values and knowing your values and aligning with that, you have to be, and I think a lot of women are not, self-aware.
Yeah.
Ask yourself questions. Know what your triggers are. Check in with yourself. After a conversation, if you're feeling with your love or whoever you're dating and you're feeling off, check in. Why am I feeling like this? Identify what's coming up, because that's part of the healing process. And I do think sometimes there is some healing. And I would say with me, there was still I was still tripping over myself a little bit in the beginning. But I was very self-aware. I would check in with myself. I would talk it out with myself, or, I believe in therapy and things like that. And also, his love was healing for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He didn't go into a lot of details about what happened. He was very patient in letting me talk it out. But there was a patience there. We're old enough. We all got stuff, right? And we all got stuff. So let's work it through, because we're never going to meet anyone who doesn't have some stuff. Mm-hmm. And so if that's what we're waiting for our plate to be clear, that's not going to happen. It's finding that person who's willing to heal with you and to be patient with you through the healing is really critical.
Mm-hmm. And and to that, Lee, that's to me is a matter of when whatever you are resonating and projecting energetically, you will line up with that exact thing. So if you needed what you needed, he was, and he showed up being that for you. So you didn't have to sit by yourself for 5 months to heal. You did it with him because he was a match
Yes.
energetically to what you needed
Yes.
in that moment. And I hope that's encouraging to people too, because I know, and particularly at our age,
Yeah.
I've been through two marriages for sure, and some have been through one, some none, some four.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of ingredients to us at this point. And so it's not always a matter of, oh, I'm so broken and I got so much baggage and so much trauma. Yeah, we do have those ingredients that come along with us. But that thing about you checking in with yourself, I mean, that is everything that my work is about with intuitive living, is that when we develop our intuitive guidance and we start checking in with ourselves regularly, I mean, there is a protocol, not a protocol because everybody's is different, but training your body to signal you in situations is the best. I mean, that is the way that you can be guaranteed you're making the highest moves. And
Yes.
so when you think about this man who's come along, do you get, I mean, everybody is different. Mine is a twirl. And if I get the twirl, I'm like,
Or your
something
chill.
is right. And the chills mean, yeah, or something,
Yeah.
And so when we train ourselves to acknowledge and understand our intuitive guidance, we don't have to worry about, taking a long time to heal, because this person may come along and, like you said, help me heal or heal with me or just help me expand. I like to call healing expanding instead of healing, because healing sounds so hurt,
Mm.
and like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a lot. I got to heal. Oh my God. And I got all these traumas, and people really do have real trauma. So I'm not negating that. But I do believe that healing really is just another word for expanding.
Yes. I
And
love
we
that.
are all ever expanding. And when we go through the contrast, or we go through challenges, those are opportunities for expansion. And when we have that perspective on life, we can see all things as important ingredients to the shaping and developing of us.
Yes. I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our time is getting short, and I feel like I done talk way too much. But tell us where you guys are at now. I mean, you don't have to tell us all your business, but how much joy are you feeling after this breakup and this new love that you're in now?
The joy honestly is inexpressible. I almost feel guilty for feeling this much happiness. So, just joy, not just joy, because joy is a big word, so I don't want to say just joy because joy is a powerful word, but also filled with purpose because we created our couples vision board for what we want to achieve for this year, and it just we just lined up, and so I have so much hope for this year and just purpose because we want to do things together. We don't believe that we're just here to just be cute because we are cute, but
Yes, you are actually.
but there's more, there's something deeper. So I feel so hopeful and purposeful. I did get a promise ring for Christmas, and it just, again, him just reiterating his intent on where he wants us to be and where he wants to go. And so that is key. Find somebody with intention for
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
I just love
Yes.
that. And so that's where we are right now. And just, it's a
Oh.
long distance relationship. So we're taking it, 1 week at a time, but we plan out our trips and when we're going to see each other and our future, and talk a million
Oh.
times a day. And today he sent me a love letter that just felt like his marriage vows, and I'm going to do a love letter to
Oh,
him later today. So we're very intentional. So I love it.
y'all are such teenagers in love. That's what got the promise ring and the vision. And listen, that is beautiful. And listen, I send both of you so much love and blessings for a divine, long lasting, soul connected love that expands you infinitely. And thank you, Lee, so much for sharing your Dreamweaver moment with us. I hope somebody is inspired by your story. It was so beautiful and it inspired me even. You know, I'm not in a space right now, I don't think, for all this, but when I do, I'm going to recollect everything that you said about lining up with my own values, because I think that's the key thing that most women really don't do in being able to attract the right mate to them, the divine right mate to them themselves. So thank you for sharing your time with us, and hopefully we'll hear back from you to get the update soon. Or not soon, but just get the update when the time is right.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and I always love speaking to you and getting in that mindset space. You definitely, one conversation with you, I'm already like in my flow, in my flow. So thank you so much.